Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido, and today we come to you from Viridian City where the Magma are hosting the Veilstone Breakers, and as that fart is going to frisk both Hitmonlee and Hariyama to reveal their leopard berries, let's have a look at this tale of the tape, because for the Magma, sitting in second place, they have never taken down the Veilstone Breakers, and if they can do so today, although it will not get them into first place, they will still keep the Verbank Plasma in striking range, whereas for the Breakers, they have won their last two games, and they have been improving as the season has continued. But with all that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the ground types? Will it be the fighting types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And if you're wondering why there is a fart on the team of the Viridian Magma, it is because it is their Terrestrial draftee taking on that ground typing, as it is alongside Donphan. And as we said, they are going up against Hitmonlee and Hariyama, and all starting Pokemon in these contests do hold on to leopard berries, as it is going to be the Haze from Fart, which is kind of not really that useful this early on in the matchup because there have been no stat changes to eliminate, and Hitmonlee is looking capitalized, going with the agility, and now the stat changes are coming into play, giving itself a massive speed boost as Donphan is going to respond with the headlong rush, and it is a one-hit wonder, lowering its own defense and special defense in the process. Hitmonlee has been eliminated from this contest. It has speedily been moved out of this matchup as the whirlwind from Hariyama is going to send Donphan back to the bench, dragging Clodsire out in its place. And Donphan did have that lowered base 120 defense as its Poliwrath entering for the Breakers. We get the Vine Whip from Fart, but it makes the mistake of going for Hariyama, allowing Poliwrath to respond with the low sweep. This will be resisted by the part poison type Clodsire, but it still takes in some decent damage. Hariyama is looking to follow it up with the Psychic, and it too has made the mistake not going for Clodsire. It is going for Fart here. That would have been super effective onto Clodsire, who goes with the Fire Blast, and this is going to be resisted by Poliwrath. They need to line up who they are targeting in this contest, as the Power Whip now onto Hariyama from Fart. Both teams keeping that high offense, so as Poliwrath with the close combat takes Fart out of this matchup, leveling the playing field, and now it's Poliwrath lowering its defensive stats in the process. But it is the Terrestrial draftee. That frisky Fart has been taken out of this contest as the lights are back on in Viridian Stadium here. It is going to be Hariyama with the Magnet Rise. It is going to begin to levitate with that electromagnetism. It doesn't want to take any of those stab ground type moves. The Drill Run though onto Poliwrath from Clodsire, getting some good damage as it is joined again by Donphan re-entering this matchup, who is immediately on the receiving end of a Bullet Punch from Poliwrath, not doing that much damage, allowing Donphan to respond with the Icicle Crash. This will be resisted by Poliwrath, being that part water type, allowing Hariyama to go with the Drain Punch. They are focusing in onto Donphan here, and Hariyama is going to restore some of its own health, taking it with that Drain Punch. And we do get Clodsire though going with the Hyper Voice. This does put Poliwrath into knockout range, as Poliwrath is going to flail about, getting in some good damage here onto Clodsire. But Donphan with the Water Shuriken has made the mistake of going for that water absorbing Poliwrath, having its health restored, allowing Hariyama to set up for the Shadow Force. It is going to vanish instantly from the field. Clodsire needs to target down Poliwrath here, and it's going for the Bolt Strike. This would be super effective, but it's made the mistake of going for Hariyama, allowing Poliwrath to go with the Haze. The second time we've seen it in this matchup. All stat changes are eliminated, including those lowered defenses of Poliwrath, as it is Donphan with the Defog. It is going to lower the evasiveness of Poliwrath, trying to make it an easier target, as the Shadow Force is finished off from Hariyama, taking Clodsire out of this matchup, and the Breakers have taken the lead. And we mentioned at the start, they have never lost a game to the Magma, as it is Palisand entering for the Magma after an impressive showing last round. It is not going to be affected by the Hyper Voice from Poliwrath. Donphan does take some of that damage though, as it is going to respond with the Hold Back, and that is not a shiny Hariyama, who is going to go with the Role Play onto Palisand. So it is going to get rid of its own thick fat, taking in that Sand Veil ability, and we are going to have Palisand going with the Power Split, sharing the power between itself and Hariyama to here. These two working in unison, it almost seems to start off with, but it is going to be Poliwrath trying for the Endeavor, but unfortunately that is not going to work on Palisand. This opens the door for Donphan to try and capitalize with the Glare onto Hariyama. This is going to leave it with that paralysis, so it may make it unable to move, but it is definitely going to slow it down. This allows Palisand to go with the Bolt Strike, and this time they've made the correct target. Poliwrath has been eliminated from this match as Palisand is trying to continue that momentum it started last round. We do get Hariyama though going with the no retreat. We have seen this before. It is going for the Omni boost and it can become an absolute powerhouse. But whilst that's happening, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please leave a like, hype, and subscribe so don't miss out on any of the action in the PokeType League. And it is going to be Hariyama being joined now by PokeType. The Breakers sending out their own Terrestrial draftee, and after having just seen Poliwrath be eliminated, I am sure that PokeType will want to bring it straight to the Breakers. It has been having a great showing, taking on this fighting typing, shortly getting some great training from its teammates, and it does have that speed control, allowing it to set up the Burning Bulwark. The Magma need to focus in on Hariyama. They do not want to be left with that burn status condition. It is first going to be Donphan going for the acid that spread damage. Now that is not going to connect with that protected Politoed, but it's also not going for the physical damage, so Donphan is able to avoid the burn. Palisand following up with the Electro Web again. They're going for that spread damage, so both are able to get in that chip damage onto Hariyama whilst nothing happens from that Burning Bulwark. They do lower the speed of Hariyama, who's already got that paralysis. It shakes it off once again, going for the charm onto Donphan, lowering that 120 base physical attack, and it is Politoed following up with the Aerial Ace, putting Donphan into knockout range, but Donphan still holding on, responds with the Bone Rush, this multi-hit move. It needs to maximize that damage. It's had that attack stat load, otherwise we have to imagine this would be doing a lot more after those 4 connections already onto Politoed, adding up one by one, and Palisand following up with the Nasty Plot, not going on the offensive. Instead, it is going to boost its own special attack that's base 110. We get the Dynamic Punch though from Hariyama, and it phases straight through that Sandy Palisand. Politoed, however, is going for the Yawn. We are going to see Palisand grow drowsy here, but it is not going to fall asleep just yet, as Donphan with the Bitter Malice putting Hariyama into knockout range, lowering that physical attack that was boosted earlier on. Palisand is going to follow it up with the Speed Swap, and I'm not sure who that's going to favor more between Hariyama and Palisand at this point in the matchup, but it is Hariyama now going with the Glaive Rush onto Palisand, getting in some great damage there as well, and Politoed looking to follow up, going with the Thunder Wave, but unfortunately that is not going to work on the ground type Magmas here, as this allows the Psychic Noise, super effective from Donphan, putting Politoed into knockout range. This is also going to prevent it from healing, and it gets that critical play as well for maximum damage. But this does lead to that Lancet Berry being chowed on by Politoed here. It is getting pumped as the Fissure, and it is Palisand connecting with the old call to take Hariyama out of this match before it falls asleep here on the field, making sure that that last move counted. It is putting the Viridian Magma in front, as they have 4 Pokemon remaining. There are 3 left for the Breakers as they send out Hitmontop, and Hitmontop immediately goes with the Dragon Hammer, bringing the hammer down onto Donphan to level the playing field. It is now down to a 3 versus 3 contest. Politoed with the opportunity to follow up, going with the Throat Chop, super effective, putting Palisand into knockout range. But Palisand, even in its sleep, it is going to chow down on its own Lancet Berry. It too is getting pumped, but I'm not sure it's even aware of that because it is snoozing on the field. Politoed no longer prevented from healing. The Magma have sent out Whiscash here, and Politoed is going to set up for the Solar Beam. It is going to absorb the light on this turn. The Magma need to get it off the field before it can finish off that Solar Beam. We get the Sweet Scent from Hitmontop. This is going to lower the evasiveness a great deal of both Whiscash and Palisand as well. Whiscash needs to go for Politoed. It goes with the Court Change though, and that is going to fail. There's no entry hazards on the field, and Palisand is still fast asleep, and this is fantastic for the Breakers, as Hitmontop is going to go with the Tearful Look in the direction of Palisand, lowering its attack here in this match as well as that special attack. But the Solar Beam from Politoed, and it is going to connect with a 1-hit wonder, extremely effective, and getting the critical play onto Whiscash, taking it out of this match. And the Breakers have taken the lead once again, as Palisand has no idea what's going on because it is still fast asleep on the field. It is going to be joined by Gastrodon entering this match. Politoed with the Sludge Bomb, trying to get Palisand off the field, but that not very effective move is not enough. Hitmontop looking to follow up, going with the Triple Axle on to Gastrodon, only connects for the single axle though, and finally Palisand has awoken. And it does go with the Volt Switch, getting in that critical play, great damage onto Hitmontop. Gastrodon is going to follow it up with the Fury Cutter, not very effective though onto Hitmontop. That chip damage allowing Hitmontop to respond with the false swipe, but it phases straight through Palisand, and that is not a shiny Palisand, as Politoed with the dual wing beat, critical play on the first wing beat, and it's slapping it with that tongue, getting the critical play on both connections onto Gastrodon here. Palisand, however, is going to respond with the pin missile. Again, this won't be very effective onto Hitmontop, but this multi-hit move getting the critical play on the first one, only getting 2 connections as well. Gastrodon trying to do its part is going with the Hydro Stream on to Politoed, and we are down to a 2 versus 2 matchup. The Breakers have 1 Pokemon remaining on their bench, and it is going to be revealed to be Toxicroak entering this match, immediately taking speed control for itself, going with the Acid Spray onto Gastrodon. Not very effective though. It is going to lower the special defense there of Gastrodon a great deal. Hitmontop could capitalize here with the Seed Bomb, extremely effective, taking Gastrodon out of this match, and Palisand, who is an easy target, is all by itself, but it is going to go with the Spatial Rend on the Toxicroak, getting in a critical play again, some fantastic damage, but Toxicroak is going to chow down on its Citrus Berry, offsetting a great deal of the damage it just took from Palisand, and it is going to go with the Shore Up, the Disrespect in front of Palisand. It is going to get itself back to full strength. This is not going to impress Palisand here, who's on the receiving end of a Venoshock. It is still holding on after that, not very effective move, avoiding the poisoning. It goes with the Energy Ball, switching its attention to Hitmontop. Hitmontop hangs on, though being put into knockout range. It is going to chow down on its Staff Berry. That is going to boost its physical, and Toxicroak is going to respond with the Shift Gear. It is going to boost that speed, but it's already got the speed control here, but it's also going to boost that 106 base attack. They need to get Palisand off this field. Hitmontop going with the String Shot. This is going to slow it down, but Palisand is already the slowest on the field, and it is going to set up for the rollout. It is trying to build that momentum. It's not very effective, but it will get stronger with every connection. Toxicroak tries for the Horn Drill, but it phases straight through Palisand. We get our first time warning. Hitmontop with the final Gambit, but again, they're phasing straight through. The Sanders moving out of the way. The rollout continues. Hitmontop has been eliminated. It is Palisand going up against Toxicroak. Toxicroak needs to take this seriously. It goes with the Avalanche, and the Breakers have taken down the Magma before the rollout could build too much momentum. And again, the Breakers continue their now 3-0 record over the Viridian Magma, having won their last 3 games, and they've finally gotten themselves into a Leaders 8 position, as next round they are going up against the Lentil Neos, whereas for the time being the Magma do stay in 2nd place, but next round they are going up against the reigning champions, the Medali Aethers. But until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I will see you when you see me.